Among those who had tough questions for Director Clancy yesterday, Democratic Congresswoman Eleanor Holmes Norton, who represents Washington, D.C. Thank you so much for your time.
Sure.
Let's start off with some of the criticism you had for the new director. You said for the beginning of his tenure that you expected there to be more order and that he would be a part of the chain of command where he would learn of something like the incident we now have seen on video.
Yeah, I faulted him for not issuing an order immediately that any incident should be immediately reported up the chain of command in light of the fact that, after all, there were bullets in the White House that even the Secret Service didn't report and was found by an attendant at the White House days or perhaps even months later. And, of course, I fault him because you always fault management. But take a look at this. Almost the entire management, not only the director, but almost the entire top management is gone. There's been a panel. We've looked at the top management. We can keep flailing them, and of course we will and should. But when are we going to look at the men and women who have indeed, and here's where we get to some of the panel's report, been working 12-hour days, often 14 days in a row, with no days off, with missions added since 9/11, with none of the training that they got before. They should get training every 4 weeks. When are we going to look at the entire agency? When are we going to take some responsibility ourselves? For example, the budget of the agency has been flat. It only 2 weeks ago, after the Department of Homeland Security budget was held up, received its budget. So I don't take a thing off of management because management is always responsible. But our committee has got to start looking at what the agents and uniformed services have been subjected to. When you see drunken incidents in Colombia and the Netherlands and now the White House, either you conclude that we've been hiring a bunch of bad agents, or you conclude these agents have been under unusual pressure while we hold them to zero failure. Not fair. We need to look at the whole Secret Service, not just the top.
I think people will appreciate what you're saying. However, you know, there are plenty of people who work 12-hour days, who are in very stressful jobs, who don't get drunk on the job, allegedly, and then careen into a barricade. They are held to a very high standard.
Don't misunderstand me. I'm not taking the case of these agents, nor am I looking at these agents in particular. I'm looking at the panel report. And the panel report about the pressure that the agents have been under. And you notice I didn't just talk about this totally unacceptable crash into the barricade, but what amounts to serial misconduct by agents, those who are an elite agency. It's time we looked at them too and say, is it their pressure? Is it something wrong with the people we've been hiring? Is it something wrong with the training? If they used to have training every 4 weeks, whatever happened to that? Why was there no new classes in the last 3 years, so that there have been no new agents, even though they've had new missions? So I'm not saying we take a thing off of management, take a thing off of drunken agents. I am saying that we need to look at the entire agency and make sure that we're not asking overburdened agents to reach zero failure when we're not giving them what it takes to reach zero
Well, it's
failure.
interesting that at this hearing last week, the House Appropriations Committee, Director Clancy actually pitched a plan to build an $8 million replica of the White House for training and its training facilities. That raised a lot of eyebrows, considering some of the other things that seem to be needed to fix some of the problems that you even referred to as serial misconduct. So would you support the $8 million replica of the White House needed, according to the director, for training?
Well, I'd like to know a whole lot more about that replica. But without the replica, if they just go back to training every 4 weeks, I'd be happy. If they just get new agents because they'd have new classes, I'd be happy. So whatever they're going to do with a new replica, that's not going to happen for a long time. What I need to happen right now is agents to get what they need to reach zero failure.
Thank you so much for joining us. It's always a pleasure to have you on. Thank you.